Today is International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. Observed every 13th October, the day celebrates how people and communities around the world are reducing their exposure to disasters and raising awareness about the importance of curbing the risks that they face. It is an opportunity to acknowledge the progress being made towards reducing losses in lives, livelihoods, and health. This year targets the enhancement of international cooperation to developing countries through adequate and sustainable support to complement their national actions for implementation of the present framework by 2030. And for more on this, we have joining us an environmentalist and climate change consultant, Dr. Erima Orie, joining us on Zoom from Abuja. Dr. Orie, it's good to have you join me now.
Thank you.
Great. Now, on a day like this, we're talking about disaster and risk management and reduction. How best can we use today to send this message, or how best can we commemorate a day like this?
Yeah, the disaster management is a global issue. It is not peculiar to Nigeria. And we must all realize that this is a task. It's a challenge that must be handled cautiously. It may happen in Nigeria and we think it will not get to somewhere else and vice versa. But it's a global threat. Therefore, every country must realize that it is not an individual fight. Every country must be involved. There has to be inclusiveness. Everyone is involved in it. Inclusiveness in terms of joining both the developed and the developing countries. Both the gender, the female gender cannot be isolated because everybody has a role to play in it. The way we manage our environment, the way we conduct our environment, even in managing and planning of the cities, urban management, is part of our contribution to disaster risk reduction. So everybody must be involved. The government must walk the talk. It is not just talking about it. We have so many laws that were not being implemented. Those laws are very good, but implementation is a problem. How many times have we inspected buildings? It's only when you have a building has collapsed, you find people going to that environment, and then they will begin to check one or two buildings around that place to say, oh, this one too will be pulled down, this one will be pulled down. But before that incident, do we take time? Do the agencies take time to go and check the standard, the quality of those buildings? Should they be pulled down and not wait until such disasters arrive? So part of disaster management is to avoid the disaster from happening, is to ensure that the ones we can minimize it. This is in line with the Sendai framework of action that says that by 2050, no, that by 2030, it's a 15-year target, that there has to be disaster has to be minimized, and new ones will not be allowed or should not be encouraged to evolve. But in Nigeria, we allow so much of disasters to happen. Take, for instance, you have social insecurity, you have political insecurity, because of, and also climate change adding to it. You have migration down south, and then you begin to have clashes, issues of land grabbing, and the farmers' headers issue. They are all associated with disaster management. Many of them in the north have lost their source of livelihood, and coming down because of deforestation, desertification, and in fact, you know that we have lost the Lake Chad. So the means of livelihood of people is drastically reduced. And in the second, due to that, people are hungry. And it becomes also a challenge to our achievement of the SDG goals. You know that these are interconnected.
All right, Dr. Orie.
SDG 1, SDG 2, all of poverty and hunger.
Okay, now because of time, let me interject a little, pardon me, let me interject a little to ask this simple question, because from the minds or perspective of the people, every individual, I believe that we all have roles to play. Because individuals are the first to face the impact of any kind of disaster at all. For any individual, what kind of caution and precaution should everyone be conscious of on a daily basis, either from the home or from the offices or wherever they find themselves?
we must have a culture of tree planting, because the moment we continue to cut our trees without replenishing, we are endangering the soil. The soil becomes so porous and it becomes soft. It cannot withstand the flash floods. And whenever you have flash floods, it's easy for the soil to cave, and then you have a situation where you have ecological issues. You can have erosion due to the flash flood. You can have, because also of unplanned mining. So each individual should develop a culture of tree planting. We develop a culture of not dropping plastics, but non-degradable items. Most times, people will just eat and then they drop the cellophane bag, the nylon bag, and they expect it to probably evaporate into thin air the next day.
All right.
But these things naturally will flow into the ocean
Okay.
and clog the waterways.
All right, Dr. Erima Orie, thank you so much for your insight into all of this. I wish we had a lot of time to discuss this further. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
Great.